Man, I know this is off the script, but you mentioned it earlier when you came in. Can you describe, because like I know a lot like the NIL deal stuff. Can you describe like what you do for that for the U of M? Can like to the
Yep.
audience?
Yep. So it's almost been 2 years since I've been back at the U. My job is like twofold. So the main part of my job is I run the M Club, which is our letter winners club. So like if you letter in high school, it's similar in college. You get your first year, second year, third, all the way up to four. And I'm given like letter awards, like your jackets, and that stuff. And then working with all alumni for all sports. And so we have M Club Room that I run on football Sundays or game days, which is for all of our letter winners to come back and just make sure that I'm fostering a community and making sure that they're all involved, and then getting involved in all the different sports. So if there's an anniversary for a championship, I'm doing that. I'm doing Hall of Fame stuff. So it's all encompassing, which I like because I get to do a lot of different things. I get to do a lot of events. I get to work with other sports, which I also appreciate. And then the other part of my job is doing NIL. So I always tell people I do the fun part of NIL, where I get to work with the athletes on their personal brand and navigating the NIL system as a whole, because it's new, right? So figuring out, like, maybe it's someone has a deal and they have questions, but usually a lot around like content, like how do I get myself out there? How do I enhance my social media to make sure that I'm building relationships with people? I'm putting out good work that's going to benefit me and help me basically get more deals and be successful. And so I love that part. That's the stuff I wish we had when I was, playing.
Oh my God, y'all would have ate off of that.
And then just really trying to help them capitalize. And everybody with NIL always thinks of like the big deals and the people that got like Gatorade and the Jujus and the Paige Beckers. And NIL is so much more to that, especially for like the basic athlete. And I don't mean like basic, but the majority of athletes that aren't the 1% and 2%. Making NIL make sense for them. There's opportunities for everybody. And so just kind of helping people figure out where they fit in and how they can capitalize on that is what I do.
That's big, because we talk about the NIL stuff all the time. Like you said, it's new. So it's so much stuff that's going on right now within it. You see, they highlight the bad stuff, the negative stuff a lot. But so it's good you saying that. Because I know there's a few kids here that actually have, I'm pretty sure Anthony Smith, I think he has, Dave's Hot Chicken NIL deal. So it's like, it's good to see that them get that opportunity, and it's something that like you said before, in the past you never got it. I tell a lot of these young kids, I'm like, even with how their games get covered, I'm like, y'all don't take this for granted. We did not have this. We used to have to go through 7. Yeah, it's like so much you had to go to just to see yourself play ball, where it's like nowadays they kind of take it, you know what I'm saying? So NIL is just one of them things where it's like, bro, this is y'all's. Like,
they got people making highlights for them.
You
got people that go around the city, and we have a couple that do a good job here in Minnesota, just covering girls and boys high school basketball.
Oh yeah, man! Shout out to us, man.
No, for real. And then posting it, and then, they can use that and just I'm gonna share this and collaborate, and it helps not only the businesses or the people doing the work, but the players too.
It helps everybody. That's why I like it. Yeah, it's a win-win. That's why we like doing that. It's a win-win, like you said.
Yeah.
All right, so what I was saying was, like, in this day and age, some coaches, they just aren't able to either get with the times of like student athletes. It doesn't matter if they're an ESPN top 100 kid or not. They're looking to get their name, image, and likeness out there and try to make some money for themselves, their families, while they're playing college basketball. So it just comes with the territory. And I know with you dealing with all these sports, is that something that you see, or is that something that you like have to advise some of your coaches to like prepare and like be ready for, or let them know like this is what you're here to help with? Like, how is that? How have you seen that?
Yeah, I think college sports is just in that adjustment stage, because it's inevitable. So whether you like it, agree with it, don't like it, like there's like you said, the pros and cons of the NIL. Just because it's new, there's not a lot of regulation, so there's a lot of things going on, right? It is what it is, though, at the end of the day. So you have to adjust and adapt and meet the players where they're at and understand. And I always say this, because I talk to a lot of alumni too who may be older, who have a whole different experience. Like, our experience and how we played and did things is a lot different. Like, even when it comes to what's expected of these athletes, with the time that they commit, and then like if you're doing NIL, you're doing a lot of extra work on top of trying to go to school and show up and do all the other things. And this doesn't come natural to a lot of athletes. Like, they have to put in work to make good content and to do all this stuff. But again, like, people have been making money off of athletes for a long time. Sports are very popular right now. It's a big market. It brings in a lot of money. So I think it's due time that athletes start to get some of that money. And again, not just the 1% and the 2%. I think the market will kind of work itself out. You know, you see these big numbers. We had collectives coming apart and finding ways to pay players. And then they were really against like the pay to play to start. As we can see, that's totally different with revenue sharing in the picture this year. Like, it's just the thing that's been good. And I like that I got into NIL right away when it's been new is you're going with the flow and you're learning. Everybody's learning at the same time. Our biggest thing, though, and I think one of the most important things is teaching your athletes how to protect themselves and how to use their resources, how to make sure they have a contract, make sure they got things in writing, make sure that they're getting it reviewed. You know, our athletes review their stuff through the law school, free bono. So they just do that. Like, that's an expectation. Like, put it through. Even if you think it's a good deal, just have somebody review it, make sure they read the fine details and make sure you're getting a good deal. And then making sure they're able to commit and do the work that it takes to actually maintain that. You know, it's a two-way street. But I just think them kind of understanding how it works, understanding how to allocate their time, not to do too much. You can only do so much when you're an athlete. And then for coaches, you know, they're at a high level, you know, where I'm at. So they do their own thing. It's one of the, they get with the program, or their programs reflect that, you know, like you got PJ, he's going to go and he's going to be selling his NIL and everything he does.
Yeah, he's out.
You know,
yeah,
he don't really need anybody in his ear to help him, you know. And again, like, that's the part where it gets tough when the school is figuring out how to find money for rev share and doing all that extra stuff. And that's why I appreciate just working with the athletes and doing that part of it. It's a lot less stressful, I would say. Because like fundraising and asking people money is not one of my favorite things to do. You know, I like to give service and to provide and do that type of stuff. So, and then again, help them earn. But like I said, there's so many potential opportunities, and it's just taking advantage of that and helping even the school just build partnerships with people that want to support our athletes and help them be successful. And again, for a win-win, because again, athletes are popular. It can help your business if you're doing it the right way. But yeah, it's interesting to continue to see how it unfolds.
That's what I was gonna say, like, for if there's some like local businesses out there, you want to, we got some people that's going to see this, so they're like local owners, or like, how would they get in touch with the U of M or the athletes to try to let them know, like, hey, we got whatever we can do, whatever it's just a couple ads we need you to do, whatever we can do to help with your name, image, and likeness, and that also can help us with our business. How can they do that?
That's the great part about the collective. You know, Dinkytown athletes, they sign athletes. They help kind of bridge that gap between getting athletes, making sure the content gets done. And so they're always a great starting point just to get involved, especially for local businesses. We have some even local but bigger businesses that will go straight to our university and kind of work with Gopher Sports Properties through Learfield, because they do like our partnerships. So that's another avenue for businesses for them to get involved. But Dinkytown's always a great start, especially if you're local looking to do something small, because people think they have to do something grand, and it can be something small, you know. And then if you have opportunities for them to do, especially when they're coming up and we're doing rev share and other things, they need activities to do sometimes too to make money. So just connecting with them is always good. They have their own website at dinkytownathletes.com. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of game. That's a lot of NIL games she just gave y'all. Like, so I'm definitely gonna make sure they hear that part. So like, yeah, that's big. No, for real. Because like you said, it's new. A lot of us, we know some parts of it. You work directly in it, so it's like you can tell us the stuff that we don't know or should know. So that was definitely real informative right there. So what's your plans like for the next couple of years when it comes to the NIL deal and, you know, your position, you know, there? Is that something you want to continue to do? Will you get back into coaching or?
Yeah, so my kids are getting big. London's catching up to me in size. So I love that my job is, I do a lot, but I'm flexible enough to really be hands in on both my kids' basketball and football and everything they want to do right now. And so that's really important to me. Really putting that time in. I will be back to coaching at some point.
Okay.
Hopefully coaching my daughter here soon. She's been playing for a couple different people and trying to find a way. She was playing up. Now she's playing her age. So we're trying to just find a group for her to get solid with. And I'd love to coach her at some point. But I'll be back to coaching, I think, when the time is right. For now, I just think getting into college sports was a good shift for me from working. I worked in education for 10 years, doing behavior and administration. So getting back into the sports world has been big for me. And just with my job, I get to do so much networking and meeting people. And that's been the greatest part. So continuing to network, continuing to learn, continuing to grow with the NIL landscape, not only for what I do, not just for what I do with mentoring other athletes, but for my own kids as well. You know, just helping make sure that they're set up in a way and they're ready. I think with rev share coming up and the shift that we're kind of looking at, and that's getting a little bit more prevalent, is helping athletes become good content creators, because athletes aren't always influencers. And I think sometimes we have that expectation, or you might have some that are good at it, but it's not like it just comes naturally. A lot of athletes are put into their game. Like their focus is playing football, playing basketball, like they're ballers.
Trying to make them be something else almost.
Yeah, they're not at home making blogs and stuff. So helping them figure that out to where it's easier for them, so that it's not like this side thing, and they can learn how to do it. And again, this is something that even I still work on. Like there's so much NIL content that I got to figure out how to work, be a mom, and then put out my own content to help put it out there. So hopefully y'all will see some stuff from me soon. But teaching them how to do that in while they're doing what they're doing, and to use other people, whether they got a roommate or a college friend that can just record stuff for them while they're out, learning how to use content that other people already are creating for them. So I think that's the biggest thing I'm really focusing on with the NIL landscape coming up here.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like you're going to be real busy. Sounds like it's going to be impacting a lot of lives. So you definitely got our support. So whatever you got going on, we will do what we can to help, share it, promote it, talk about it, tell somebody. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so we appreciate you pulling up. This was definitely another Twin City Sports Classic episode. You know,
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Always.
No, for sure. So appreciate you coming, man. It's been another episode.
Kiara Buford, and I'm on Twin City Sports.